few other matters before we conclude tonight. Are there any other matters of interest to the public before we go into the discussion?
Please state your name, spell your last name.
Charles Cradaville, K-R-A-T-O-V-I-L.
Do you swear from tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir. Good evening, members of the board. It's great to see so many people coming out here and having these important discussions. I'm glad you approved what you approved tonight, but I do want to start out by just asking about the membership. I noticed a new member here. Can I understand, is there a member who left? Did somebody resign? Was somebody replaced? Whose seat is Mr. Berger in tonight?
Clary Escona Barber has left the planning board. She's chosen to take herself off the board in preparation for her role as freeholder.
Great. And so Mr. Berger is taking her spot.
Yes, as the mayor's designee.
Thank you. I wanted to ask about the process for reconsideration. So I know, for instance, the zoning board had an application where there were conditions that were not met, and now they are going to reconsider their approval. What steps would someone have to take to make that happen for a planning board approval?
Mr. Chairman, if it's on a specific application, I don't believe it's appropriate for the board to discuss that specific application about the applicant here. If it's a generic, what's the role of a reconsideration? It is considered in the municipal land use law, and I can give you a whole seminar on why it is or how it is that reconsiderations can occur, but it can be on the initiative of the board or of the applicant, either reconsider the entire application or a condition of the application.
How about a third party? Can a third party, resident, citizen, bring forth a request that an application be reconsidered?
I'm not aware of any way that a non-applicant or the board can bring for reconsideration.
Okay. Well, I would encourage this board to reconsider an approval that happened quite a while ago. It was before any of you were on the board, but it's 2004. It was Children's Specialized Hospital, and I brought this up at your last meeting. We discussed the issues with access and mobility around the Robert Wood Johnson campus, specifically within the redevelopment area that you just approved some changes to. I think it's called the French Prospect redevelopment area, and this is something the board approved in November of 2004, file number 16-2004, and it was basically you were misled. You were lied to by the applicant. It says here in item number 20, quote, "The applicant testified that there will be an interior walkway between the Child Health Institute and the proposed Children's Specialized Hospital that will connect French Street with Somerset Street. The applicant will put up signs identifying the walkway and making clear that the interior walkway is a public walkway." And I would also submit that the redevelopment plan specifies that it must be up to standards such as ADA, and it must be public, signed as such. So I did stop by the area here, and unfortunately, more than a month after I brought this up to you, and at least I guess more than a week after I brought it up to Robert Wood at their annual meeting, there is still no public walkway here. So we've got basically two pictures I took today. I'll just hand them to you. You can keep them for the record. This is the elevator, and you can see it's completely out of service. It's been out of service for years. As discussed at the last meeting, the reason for this being a requirement of the redevelopment plan was that Robert Wood gobbled up a couple of streets that used to provide public access between Somerset Street and French Street, and as a condition of getting to build on this site, they testified under oath to this board that they were going to have a public interior walkway at the facility, and I pointed out that the interior walkway is maybe from here to there, not a very big interior walkway, and it's not open basically nights and weekends. It's, I don't know exactly what time, it's like a, a digital, automatic locking system, and it's not signed in any way as public. It's not clear that you can use it, even though they promised it would be. And it takes you to that very nice courtyard, where then, if you have a, you're in a walker or a wheelchair, you're gonna be stuck because the elevator doesn't work, and there's a huge flight of stairs to get down to, I guess that would be French Street at the corner with Plum. And so I don't see how such a huge corporation with such major resources can get away for so many years with violating the redevelopment plan that this board, trusted them to abide by. And I would encourage you to make something happen to correct that error. And there should be signage, the elevator should be working, and the walkway should always be open. Just to be clear, the redevelopment plan and the resolution that were approved don't specify that they have to keep a walkway open, 9 to 5 or certain hours of the day. It says it's a public walkway. So they can't, first of all, it's a hospital. It's open 24 hours a day. It's not like they're closed for business. They could keep the walkway open 24 hours a day. In fact, they should. And so until such time as that is fixed and the elevator is fixed, I'm going to keep bringing this up at this board, at the city council, to anybody who will listen to me at Robert Wood, because this is a travesty. I mean, it's a huge obstacle in our community, and it shouldn't be that way. It was acknowledged in the redevelopment plan that something had to be done, and what was supposed to happen didn't happen. So I think the planning director's looked into it a little bit, and I would like to hear if he's made any progress on this, but I'd also like to hear from the board members, if you have any.
Well, thank you for your continued advocacy. We appreciate it. It is, and again, as you said, nobody on this board was here at that time, but if the board at that time had asked that this be maintained as a public right-of-way, we appreciate the additional information that you brought to light here. We said we would look into it, and I think we are continuing to do so. Let Dan provide any update that he may have.
Yes, certainly. So I actually went out there myself, and unfortunately, I can actually corroborate basically everything that Mr. Bradville is saying. The elevator is fully off in the sense that there's no power to the elevator. I don't know for sure about the closures during the nights and weekends. I didn't go at the nights and weekends, but I do know that there is a lack of signage, and the pathway is a bit confusing. Right now, Chief of Staff Keith Jones and I are working through to figure out the right people at Robert Wood / Rutgers to figure out who needs to come in and fix it, but we're serious in navigating that. And the elevator in particular, as the only way down on the Front Street side is via stairs, you need the elevator to work to make it ADA accessible. So we're in the process of hunting down the people that we need to, and we're working on getting it up and running once again, because I agree that it should be.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I think you have the support of this board to continue to hear from you every month. That if this doesn't continue, if conditions do continue, we are also taking it seriously. This is part of what we require of the institution, and we'll continue through our administrative support to make sure that these corrections are made.
Thank you. I'm glad we're all in agreement.
And as a member of council, I can attest to that, so we're serious about correcting this issue.
Wonderful. Thank you. Have a good one.
Any other matters of interest to the public? No. We have a discussion of one other item, nomination of a vice chairperson.
I nominate Manuel Castellini.
I second.
Dan, you need to see if there are any other nominations.
Wait, hold on. Was that Chris?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other nominations?
Good. Do we need to take a roll call vote? Or
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yulita Checo?
Yes.
Suzanne Ludwig?
Yes.
Christelle Tello?
Yes.
Brian Berger?
Yes.
Manuel Castaneda? Yes. You might not be.
Is that a conference for yourself?
That's
Warm Gary.
Jeff Trump?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. I won't be at the next meeting.
Great.
Great. And we have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn? Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for coming in.